gold, and the 1989 World Championship team in Stuttgart is hoping to lead her team to another gold medal tonight.
This happens but every 4 years. This will be my only chance to win a gold medal.
But the current U.S. national champion, Kim Zmeskal, is assured that she and her teammates will give the Soviets stiff competition.
We came away with a medal. It would show the world that United States is ready and they're ready to come back as a team and that our younger girls are getting stronger.
Can the Soviet gymnasts continue to dominate, or will the U.S. team pull an upset?
Men's basketball. The United States and Brazil head-to-head in tonight's semifinal. Brazil is undefeated in Seattle, but the United States is looking to win.
The co-host who normally or regularly is in the studio, Hannah Storm, is standing by. The United States ladies are demanding some respect. Right, Hannah?
Certainly they are, Larry. With a guy like Bela Karolyi stalking the sidelines, these judges are very familiar with him and the quality of gymnasts that USA coach can produce. Now, normally this would be a Soviet-Romanian battle. Those are the two countries that usually battle for the top spot. However, Romania is in upheaval right now. They've closed their national training center. They've only sent one gymnast. So it figures to be an American-Soviet battle. The Soviets are the best in the world, Larry. They're probably half a point to a point better than the Americans. But the Americans do have what you might call a home court advantage. Over half of the judges here are from the United States. They're very familiar with our gymnasts, and this is a very subjective and political sport. We are going to see two types of gymnasts here tonight, two types of styles between the Soviets and Americans, and they are epitomized in the top two gymnasts here, Svetlana Boginskaya and Kim Zmeskal. Svetlana Boginskaya, the 17-year-old Minsk. From Minsk, Boginya means goddess in Russian, and she is indeed the goddess of gymnastics. 1989 world champion, 1989 and 90 European champion. Then Kim Zmeskal, trained by Bela Karolyi, the 14-year-old, placed a close second to Boginskaya at the Paris International earlier this year. She's the 1990 national champ. Boginskaya returned to the classic ballerina-type gymnast. She's elegant, dramatic, a maturity beyond the others, exuding beauty and grace that has been severely lacking in the sport. And Zmeskal, typical of Karolyi's gymnast, reminiscent of Mary Lou Retton. She's powerful and plays to the crowd and perky. Athleticism taking precedence there. She's also very courageous. She has been suffering from a sore Achilles here. She also has a problem in her wrist, but she says, Larry, that she doesn't think that will be too much of a problem in her competing tonight. I think to sum it all up, I think that assistant coach for the U.S., Stormy Eden, said it best. For the Americans to beat the Soviets are going to have to fall off the balance beam.
Thanks, Hannah. By the way, Hannah and Nick will be with you tomorrow afternoon and Sunday afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. There is daytime action that we cover for you on the weekends during the Goodwill Games. Tomorrow is the first day of boxing. Ice hockey begins. The United States takes on Switzerland, and cycling sound. Concept same as the Panama Canal. Sea lions come here every year to get some salmon, and millions of visitors, too. Welcome back to our coverage of the 1990 Goodwill Games. We're going to take you out to Houston, Texas now. And this is the Bela Karolyi Gymnasium. You see all these young gymnasts. There is their coach, James Holmes, the head coach of the Karolyi Gym. What, Jim, quickly, is the story behind this gymnasium? How did this all happen?
Just a lot of kids coming into the gym, wanting to train, a lot of preparation, intense environment. That's the idea behind the gym.
How did you latch onto it?
I met Bela 8 years ago at the university, and I was just a young fellow taking a beginning gymnastics class, and he saw intensity and motivation and desire, just like the young kids, and he kind of latched onto me.
Now, are these kids all from Houston, or they come from everywhere?
We have kids from everywhere. A lot of local Houston kids, kids from all over the country that have high hopes and high aspirations to become the best that they can be in this sport, and they've sought out the best gym that they can do that in.
Thanks, James. We'll be checking back with you, and we'll get the reaction of these kids as they watch their elders, if they can be called that, bring you the action tonight from the opening night of ladies gymnastics. We're going south now to the Tacoma Dome. It's about 35 miles from here. There they are, Jim Simpson and Kathy Johnson, for our coverage of gymnastics. James.
Larry, it's 1 week later, but the script has not changed. The Soviets are still the favorites, but something has happened here, Kathy, that people might say they hurt the team. It does not. but it certainly hurts the chances of Boginskaya, the world champion.
It certainly has. Svetlana Boginskaya fell from the uneven bars, and it's shocking to see any Soviet have a fall from the uneven bars. But to see a world champion of this magnitude, who's usually cool as a cucumber in competition, right here, off on a reverse hex, just very unusual.
Now, her three teammates did very well, so they are leading at the end of the first half of the first rotation. What does this do to Svetlana now?
Well, Svetlana probably will not qualify for the all-around finals because they only take 2 per country. It will be very difficult to beat out her teammates to qualify for the all-around.
And we're now in the midst of the second half of the first rotation, and the Americans are on the floor exercise. And you're looking now at Sandy Woolsey. She's 17 years old from Tempe, Arizona. 8th in the all-around in the World Championships. I said the floor exercise, and of course she's on the balance beam.
Sandy had a terrific year of competition this past year. Finished very high at the World Championships. She was 8th all around there. Her back has been bothering her a little bit this past week, though, and I've noticed in workout she's having a little bit of a tough time with it.
Injuries have been a problem for the American team, including Kim Zemesko, who is to follow.
So far, she's moving fairly well. A little bit rough in spots. She had that one balance break right at the beginning. Do back handspring split. Lay out back pike. Good landing on that. One difference you'll notice between the Soviets and Sandy, she doesn't really lock out her legs. She really needs to work on straighter legs, pointed toes, and really cleaning up every single movement. But she's really competing well here on this event. She's fulfilling all the requirements necessary. The full turn is one of the special requirements on the balance beam. She has more than enough difficulty. And here's her dismount. This is the toughest part of her routine. Round up, double back. Pulls it around. Oh.
And they'll need everything they can get because the Soviets are off to a great start. And as we were going to say, but we had so little time we had to go down to live action, don't forget the Chinese here either tonight. They are very strong.
The Chinese are very consistent and they're very, very polished.
Much better than an underturn. Good
Again,
job.
They were 3rd at the World Championships. The Americans were 4th, and this is very unfortunate for Sandy. That's a front mounter. And here's the dismount. She just felt, I believe, that she didn't have enough rotation and had to pull it around more than she really needed to. Got her feet too far underneath her and had to sit down. Of course, that's 5/10 of a point. That's a fall.
Well, you've seen Sandy Woolsey fall. We've also seen Boginskaya, the world champion, fall.
Now, what that fall does is it puts a little bit of pressure on the remaining 2 gymnasts for the U.S. They really are in a must-hit situation. Amy Shear opened up first on the balance beam for the Americans. She scored a 9.725, a wonderful start for them. But this is going to drop them down just a little bit.
Great combination of athletes here from all over the world and a great group of people here. It is sold out for the next 3 nights. This is Kim Zemesko, only 14 years old. She is the star. She's been bothered by bursitis and tendonitis, depending upon whether you're talking about her heel or you're talking about her ankle.
Pull that double around.
That's Stormy Eaton,
Pull it
Sandy
around.
Woolsey's
All you
coach.
got to do. Okay?
The Desert
Don't
Devils in
labor your run
Arizona.
at all. Blast it down that runway.
He's already talking
You'll be
about the
fine.
floor
You're
exercise,
triple already.
looking ahead, and it's the best thing to do at this point. You cannot look behind you and think about a past error. You've just got to go on and hit everything else.
9.175 for Sandy Woolsey. Brought about by that landing which she did not stick, she fell. So now we go to Kim Zemesko, all-around champion from the Nationals in Denver a little bit more than a month ago.
And up until yesterday at 5 o'clock, it was questionable whether she would compete or not. She has tendonitis in that left wrist. You can see that it's wrapped. And it is causing quite a bit of pain, but they say it's not going to cause any more damage working on it. A nice press to handstand. Now watch this position. Very nice reverse plunge position.
How good is young Kim? 2nd to Boginskaya in Paris.
Kim is very tough in competition, which is going to help her block out the pain that she might feel in that wrist. It was a difficult pass. The handspring, 2 layout step outs. Nailed it. Solid. off to a very good start. Moving quite well. Keep in mind that each team can drop one low score on each apparatus. So they're looking to drop that 9-1-7-5. And this performance is well on the way to doing just that. Back handspring, layout step out, down to one knee, showing a little originality. Preparing for the dismount, looking for the stick, round off, double back. Perfect landing. You can't do it any better than that. Most people would say it's a disadvantage to start on the balance beam, but when you do a routine like that, it's an advantage. You get it out of the way, and you put a little pressure on the other teams that have to follow.
Great job, hon.
This is a young lady that simply came to Caroli's gym as a youngster, not from out of town, but from Houston, and here she is with a near-perfect routine on the balance beam to start in international competition.
With that mount, the press to handstand, and she lowers down to what is called a reverse flange position. Takes a lot of strength and combined with balance. Very nice.
What a contrast in beginnings, Kathy. Bogunskaya falls on the unevens. The world champion, and Kim, who was second to her, has this routine that's, well, I don't know what the judges give her, but looks nearly perfect.
A very difficult pass, the two layout step outs in a row.
990.
All right, and this dismount helped just that. Not a budge on that landing.
990 for 14-year-old Kim Zmeskal of Houston, Texas. The team competition in the women's gymnastics has begun, and you haven't seen the last of it yet. At the end of the first rotation, the United States in sixth, the Soviet Union as expected in first. But remember what Kim Zmeskal did. One of Bella Karolyi's performers. 990, and she was followed by Betty Okino.
Good.
Who also turned in an outstanding performance.
Fortunately, since all the Americans, except for one, hit on balance beam, they'll be able to drop that one low score.
I believe that way, yeah.
Now remember what Kim Zmeskal did. She really helped her team.
All right.
And to follow was Betty Okino out of Elmhurst, Illinois, just 15 years old. And this is what she did.
Betty is absolutely beautiful on the balance beam. Nice long lines, really shows off the long legs, shows off the flexibility.
She's the anchor in this rotation. She finished first on the beam in our national championships.
Fulfilling one of the requirements right off the bat. It's an acrobatic element right into a dance element. The front walkover into the Sisson jump. Very critical pass. Back handspring, two layout step out. Solid as a rock. It's her leap combination for gymnastics series requirement. Watch this turn. A double turn. So difficult on the balance beam. Very, very risky. Of course, that earns bonus points for her. Showing a nice flange. Very solid work. This is her dismount pass. Two back handsprings to a double back. And one step on the landing. The only deduction in the routine was really that one step.
And she followed up Kim Zmeskal with a 990 whip for Betty Okino, a 990. This is a very difficult event on which to start, and the Americans, Kathy, have done extremely well.
They have done extremely well. After this one event, the United States is up by .088. Not much of a lead, but any lead at this point is fantastic. Here's that double turn. Very difficult. You can see her spot the end of the beam between each turn. It's a nice handstand Arches over to a move made popular by Christy Phillips many years ago, also a gymnast of Bella Caroli, and then goes right into the planche and down to straddle splits. She had a little bit of trouble sometimes in the landing in the warm-ups, but look at this. Pulls it right around, and just the one step on the landing. The only deduction of the routine, therefore 9.9.
The first rotation, USA 29.525. The favored Soviet Union 29.437. 0.088, the difference in score to Larry King.
Thanks, Jim. When we come back, we're going to have an extraordinary time with two people who left their mark on Olympics past. Nadia and Olga. That's all I got to tell you. We'll be right back.
I was in agony.
5 to 6 here in Seattle on this Friday night. A beautiful evening. And we start our second weekend of competition at the Goodwill Games. One followed the other in our hearts. At the 1972 Olympics, Olga Korbut made the world realize how beautiful gymnastics could be. And at the 1976 Olympics, Nadia Comaneci showed how it's possible to do something perfectly. And tonight we're pleased to have each of them with us here on our inaugural night of women's gymnastics at the Goodwill Games. On my left is Nadia Comaneci. Nadia can speak and understand English pretty good. Olga Korbut will have an interpreter. First, right off the top, what did you think of Kim's performance?
I think that she did no mistake. I gave her 9.95.
You gave her better than
Yes.
the judges.
Yes.
Is that one of the more difficult aspects of gymnastic competition, the bar?
For me, was, and I think for all the gymnasts are the most difficult.
Why?
Because you must work more at the beam.
Was the bar harder for you, Olga?
Ну, брусья мой любимый снаряд. Но вообще, правильно Надя сказала, что бревно — это коварный снаряд.
Bars are much harder for me, but Nadia is absolutely right. Beam is a very difficult element to perform.
Как у мальчиков конь, махи, так у нас бревно.
Vault for the men, and of course the beam for the women.
This is for both. Let's start with you, Olga. Do you miss competing?
Вы скучаете, вы соскучились по представлениям?
Ну, в прошлом году я выступала на вольных. Я соскучилась скорее не по снарядам, а по зрителям.
Last year I had a chance to perform in an exhibit, but I missed the audience greatly.
The audience?
Yeah.
More than the competition?
Да, я больше люблю не соревнования, а показательное выступление, потому что не боишься, что
I enjoy the
упадешь, не
performance a lot
боишься.
more than a competition because you're not afraid of falling in mistakes.
You miss it.
I miss very much. I started to train again, but all the time when I am in the competition, watch the competition, I so emotional because I feel that I like to do again, but I realize that I am too old for this now.
Also, when you watch them, do you want them to do well?
Yes.
You root for them?
Yes.
No matter what country?
No matter.
Do you root for them too? Do you want all of them to do well?
Я почему-то всегда болею за слабейших.
Somehow I always root for the weakest.
Но,
The underdog.
Самых последних, да?
Ну, не самых последних, но мне почему-то всегда очень не жалко, а видно, когда гимнаст падает.
I always feel so bad for the ones that fall or make a big mistake.
Потому что я уверена, что он на тренировках делал безукоризненно.
Because I know for sure that they must have performed beautifully, just not at the competition.
What is the rule when